So there's a very popular saying, when America sneezes, the world catch a cold. So anything that trends in America, the world somehow seem to latch on to it and start doing the same thing, whether good or bad. That is something that we have seen for the past couple of decades. And in recent times, with the election the 2024 election, we saw the Trump administration accusing the media in America of becoming politicized, that most of the media in America, they were going for the Democrats and they would be very unfair to the Trump administration. That was what they were accused of. So now we saw the election in Jamaica and we see similar things coming out where a lot of JLP supporters saying, you know what, most of the media houses in Jamaica, they are taking sides with the People's National Party. And we saw where the People's National Party and Mark Golin refused to do anything with Nationwide, saying that Nationwide is very biased when it comes on to the Jamaica Labour Party. But no, the election is done, everything is wrapped up, and Dr. Andrew Holness is back in office for a third consecutive time as the Prime Minister of Jamaica. And during his swearing-in ceremony, the Prime Minister of Jamaica said something interesting that have a lot of people on social media talking, and people are now saying that the Prime Minister is calling out Dion Jackson Miller. Dion Jackson Miller is one of Jamaica's top journalists, and people on social media, people on YouTube all over said, look, that jab that the Prime Minister took at the swearing-in ceremony was directed to Dion Jackson Miller. So just in case you have not seen what people are talking about, this is what the Prime Minister had to say.
My fellow Jamaicans, there are those who say, Prime Minister, you have achieved so much, you have nothing left to prove. It is time to hand over the baton. I hear you, I hear those voices, but I also hear another voice. The voice of Jamaica itself. The voice that says we are not yet where we need to be. The voice that says we are destined for more. The voice that says our children deserve to inherit not just hope but opportunity, not just survival but success, not just resilience but prosperity. This term is not about me proving that we can build. We have already proven that. There is much more to build, and I am here to build it.
Yes, so people are saying that was directed to Dion Jackson Miller because of her analysis after the election when the Prime Minister won the third consecutive term. She, on her YouTube program, she was breaking down the win and what it means for the Jamaica Labour Party going forward. And this is what she had to say, why people are saying that, look, the Prime Minister is calling her out.
Highly likely, that Holness might step down during this term in office. He has nothing left to prove. He's done everything he wanted to do. He's won that third term. He's also made significant improvements. He can point to all kinds of improvements in Jamaica, improvements in crime. Murders are down. He can point to infrastructural work. He can point to records like the lowest unemployment rate that we've recorded in Jamaica's history. So yeah, he has all these achievements he can boast of, right? If he decides to hold on as Prime Minister and contest a fourth election leading his party, he risks having to leave on a losing note. And why do that? As I said, he has nothing left to prove. So we might start to see maneuverings in the Jamaica Labour Party before too long if they start to look to succession and the possibility of a new leader. Because remember now, if Holness steps down, right, and there's a new JLP leader and a new Prime Minister, he's going to want to do that in enough time to give whoever is the new leader, whoever is the new Prime Minister, enough time to settle and solidify their lead on the party going into that next election. So that would have to happen about midterm or so to make sure any kind of fractures or splits that develop as a result of a leadership contest with the best in the world, with the best will in the world. Sometimes you can't avoid that, to ensure that, as I said, any new leader would have time to bring the party back together in time for the next election. And I know a lot of people might be saying, wait, how Dionne reached this? So the election just done, but it's politics, it's a chess game, and Holness has shown he's a master player. He's going to want to leave his party in a good spot to win again.
Okay, so that was Dion Jackson Miller breaking down the result of the election and talking about what is next for the Prime Minister and the Jamaican Labour Party. So what are my thoughts on this? Does anything in that video to me stand out as if she's supporting the People's National Party? And I would say no. I would say one of the things that I realize in this political cycle, there are a lot of YouTube channels that are 100% PMP, 100% JLP, and there are a few channels in between, and Dion Jackson Miller, she's one of them, that she breaks it down evenly, and she doesn't seem to pick any side with any of the party. She just give her opinion and break it down the way she sees it. And that is what I do also. So I understand. I've been accused of being a Labourite for the entire political cycle based on my opinion. So what I saw there, I didn't see anything wrong. And actually, the night of the election, after the Prime Minister won, and I did a video breaking down the election also, I said something similar. I said that because I watched a recent interview, and the Prime Minister was saying that he's interested in teaching or something like that. And at the night when I was breaking it down also, I said that the Prime Minister is playing with house money. The Prime Minister would have the opportunity to step down and to give someone a start if he wants. And what I said also is that because the Prime Minister is securing a legacy, and we have to understand that, and because PJ Patterson did 14 years, in that video that I did, I said, look, the Prime Minister could finish the 14 years to go to 14 years and 6 months or whatever to pass out PJ Patterson and to be the longest serving Prime Minister in the history of Jamaica. And after that, then he would have nothing else to prove. And if he's in a position where he believes that the party would be better off if he steps down and give a young rising star the opportunity to win the election, if he's in a position where he feel like, okay, I might lose this election, and if I give someone else like a Kamina Johnson-Smith or someone else the go, that they would have a better chance, that is what I said also. I believe that if he's in a position where he feels that the future of the party is better if a young rising star comes in and he passed the baton to them, I believe that the Prime Minister would do that. So, based on what Dion Jackson Miller said, I think we have a similar mindset. But also, one of the things that we have to understand too is that the Prime Minister, as I said, Dr. Andrew Holness, is playing with house money. There's a strong possibility that Dr. Andrew Holness, that his approval rating could skyrocket on this third term, and he could be more popular the next election than he was this election. Remember, he was dealing with the Integrity Commission for this election. He also was coming out of the pandemic where the economy wasn't growing. But the fact that they're able to pull off the reducing the debt to GDP ratio, and the Jamaica now have a lot of money in reserve, and the Prime Minister could go on a spending spree. The Prime Minister could go on a spending spree and the economy could start growing. So just imagine this, the next 5 years election. Just imagine if unemployment rate, we still have record low unemployment rate. Just imagine crime is still down or going down even more. Just imagine education is improving. And also the big promise, it wasn't a promise on the campaign trail, but it was a promise that they made before the election that they're going to take back JPS. Just imagine all of that happening, and Jamaicans are paying like 30 to 40% on electricity bill. Crime is down, low unemployment rate. The Prime Minister would even be more popular than he was this election. And if he's in a position like that, I don't think the Prime Minister would step down if he's in a position like that. And we have to understand also, the Prime Minister refers to Singapore a lot. He wants Jamaica to be the next Singapore, the Singapore of the Caribbean. And I know that the Prime Minister study a lot and know what is going on around the world. And one of the things with Singapore, the Prime Minister that lead Singapore from a developing country into one of the most developed country in the world. One Prime Minister, he was in power for over 30 years, and he was dubbed one of the most loved Prime Minister in this in our lifetime. The Prime Minister of Singapore, the longest serving Prime Minister, over 30 years, and he was popular, not a dictator, not someone that people were worried about. He won his election fair and square. He brought Singapore from a developing country to one of the most developed countries in the world, and he was very popular. And that is the model that Andrew Holness have his sight on. So Andrew Holness could be there for a long time, especially if the whole idea of Jamaica becoming the next Singapore is a reality. Jamaicans are not going to vote out progress. So I don't think that Dion Jackson Miller said anything wrong. So sound off in the comment section and let me know your thoughts. Did you think that Dion Jackson Miller said anything wrong in that, breaking down the result of the election and what she said about the Prime Minister and the possibility of him stepping down? Let me know in the comment section.
I stand before you deeply humbled and profoundly grateful to accept the people's mandate to once again serve as your one Prime Minister.
One of the next thing that people are calling out Dion Jackson Miller for is for her criticism of the Prime Minister's speech after he got sworn in for the third time. And people are saying that why she calling out the Prime Minister's speech, that the Prime Minister have a right to speak how he want to speak, but Dion Jackson Miller was saying that she didn't think that the speech was graceful enough. She think it was like a bit braggadocious, like he was rubbing in the victory in the opposition party's nose, and that was not a good thing.
You want a swearing-in speech to be a number of things, all right? You want it to be aspirational. What heights can we reach? How can we get there? What's the broad vision for the country? Then you want it to be unifying. You know, let's all work together. Let's come together and hold hands and together try to achieve this vision that I've just outlined. And third, you want it to be gracious because the election campaign done. You won, right? Leave the election gimmicks behind and sound statesmanlike and prime ministerial. Now, the Prime Minister's speech claimed to be unifying. But come on. You can't claim to be reaching out to your opponent. You can't claim to want to be unifying. You can't be calling for unity while your speech, on the other hand, is still rubbing your opponent's nose in it. Come on, though. This is not the platform. This is not the time. This is not the place to be taking political jabs at your opponent. This was a time to be gracious in victory. Comments like that aren't gracious. They aren't unifying. And sure, you're going to get a forward from the crowd. The crowd are going to make noise. The crowd are going to cheer. Look, the crowd is made up of mainly JLP supporters. Them are going to laugh no matter what you do. Certainly the leader of the opposition, Mark Golding, when the camera went to him never looked amused.
So this is the part of the speech that people are talking about that Dion Jackson Miller was criticizing.
Now, my friends, the elections are over. We must reunite and refocus on the business of the nation. The time has come where we must get over the thrill of victory and the agony of defeat, put aside haughtiness and bitterness, unfold our arms, unclench our fists, retract accusatory fingers, and embrace each other. Regardless of the outcome, we must choose Jamaica.
Okay, so my thoughts on the speech. I believe that with Dion Jackson Miller sharing your opinion, as all of us do, on whether on social media or on our YouTube channel, sharing your opinion does not necessarily mean that you're going for the other party. You're just saying that, look, I would have prefer if it was done this way. Like if he wasn't taking a jab at the opposition leader, if he wasn't like just like celebrating, like rubbing it in for the opposition leader, and that he's her right to do. So that no, that don't necessarily mean that she's supporting the People's National Party or she was supporting the People's National Party. And to be fair to her, like most of the things that she said, she talked about the Republic. She liked what the Prime Minister said about working with the opposition leader to make sure that Jamaica become a republic. She spoke about the development that's taking place. In the same breaking down the election, she spoke about the low crime rate, unemployment rate, and stuff like that. And I believe that most of what she said, at least 70% of what she said was positive, and maybe about 30% things that she would have done differently. So I don't know how people take that to say that, okay, she's a PMP or she is someone that is supporting the People's National Party. But I don't see it that way. And as I keep saying on this channel, I want to foster an environment where JLP supporters, PMP supporters, and people that can support any one of the party at any particular time have a voice, can have a conversation. Because one of the things that is not good is like these echo chambers. When you go on YouTube or when you go on certain platform and you see like thousands of JLP gather in one room, you see thousands of PMP gather in one room, and they are having a conversation for like 2 hours. And if you go in a PMP space and they're having a conversation for 2 hours, they can't say anything positive about the Jamaica Labour Party or what they have done. Vice versa. You go into a Jamaica Labour Party space, and for the 18 years that the People's National Party was in power, people are saying that, look, I can't point out one good thing that the People's National Party did for Jamaica, and that is ridiculous. I understand when we are in election mode and you probably don't want to say anything positive, but after the election is over, I think we're all Jamaicans and we can all, because no politician, no party has done 100% bad or 100% good. There's a mixture in both parties. The People's National Party have done good. The Jamaica Labour Party have done good. People's National Party have done bad. The Jamaica Labour Party have done bad. And I believe that as Jamaicans, we can say that. So, Dion Jackson Miller, no. I think Dion Jackson Miller is one of the most professional journalists in Jamaica. And she's going to go down as one of the top journalists in Jamaica's history. That is a big thing. So I don't think that she's a PMP. I don't think she's supporting the People's National Party. I think she's just taking her journalism work serious. And she can't just say, like, close her eyes and just say everything that people from the Jamaica Labour Party want to hear. You know, sometimes you just have to speak things how you see it. You can't just say things that caress people's ego. Everything that they want to hear, you can't just be saying that. So those are my thoughts. But leave your thoughts in the comment section and let me know what you think about this. Do you think Dion Jackson Miller is one of the best journalists in Jamaica? And do you think that she's being fair? Or you're one of those persons that think that, look, she's a PMP? You know, let me know in the comment section. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more amazing content. And remember, peace. I'm out.